the intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
Welcome back, Starship Fleet Commanders. I hope you're having a great day. Comment down below if you are. Today, I want to talk about free primes. Look, we're always looking for ways to get stronger in Starship Fleet Command, and the strongest researches are often prime researches, which generally require little monetary transactions to acquire, but there are some that you can get completely free to play. And I want to talk today about Orbit Medallions, using the silent loop to then go and get some primes that we can then have a little bit extra oomph in our power systems, a little bit extra oomph in our photon torpedoes. Well, how do we do that? By doing this grind. Now, I've done a video going over attacking these silent hostiles because they can be a little bit tougher, especially for players coming into the 40s for the first time. This is going to be something that is 40 and above for the free prime grind. However, doesn't mean it's unattainable for others. Now, which system you have to go after is determined by your ops level. So you can see it starts here with the level 41 system of Ethera Nova, and it looks like a little Christmas tree. At least to me, it looks like a little Christmas tree. I think it's adorable. But taking on those hostiles, I'll put a link to the video where we talk about crewing versus them at the end of this one and maybe in the comment section. But I really want to focus on how you can get free primes and which ones matter. Which one should you go after first? So while we let the sound pack do its grinding, how about we talk about what those are? So it's through Prime Orbit Medallions, and you get that by, again, doing the silent loop, going into your artifact gallery, and then you're looking for this exchange right here. Which, by the way, Scopely, if you're listening, please allow me to transfer my old currencies, like my 4-star temporal ones that I were grinding, into new stuff. It'd be really great of you. But you have a chance of Prime Orbit Medallions dropping for each chest pull that you do. So if you did a 3 chest pull, that's 3 different rolls with a chance of getting Prime Orbit Medallions. That means a maximum of 60 for me, more likely 5 or 10, but they add up over time. That's why you want to be doing this loop consistently, because free primes matter. Now, what primes are available through this loop? Actually, quite a few. In fact, here they are right here. Most of them are in the station tree, couple in the combat tree, and then a couple more in the Ex-Borg. I want to go over which ones I like the most. Now, compared to some of the other free primes out there, I feel like this is one of the most valuable sets of free primes in the game. There are great ones with Dolomite, to be sure, and there's a lot of Dolomite sourcing. There's not a ton of sourcing here for Prime Orbit Medallions. It's this right here, not counting buying packs, obviously, but there's a lot of good things here, and I want to go over which ones I think you should go after first. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this a little bit smaller so that we can focus on where we can go and get these different things. So to do that, we're just going to do that right there. So let's back out. We'll go first to the combat tree, which in my opinion has one of the best ones in the game, and it's going to be available right here towards the front. Don't have to go hunting it down or anything. Prime critical damage floor. Now, what does this do? Critical hit damage cannot be reduced by any players or hostiles below a base percentage, 100%. Now, you might be going, Rev, this sounds familiar. I believe I've seen this somewhere before. And you would be right. You actually have seen this before. And if you've ever wondered, hey, how can I, out of nowhere, I managed to get this amazing hit? How did this happen? Well, this happens because there's research in buildings that will lower your opponent's crit damage. And if you don't have the prime critical floor that we just showed and a favor that I'll reference here in a second, you can actually have your damage zeroed out. And it's something a lot of players skip on. This can give you a big leg up. Now, keep in mind, this also works for hostiles, as there are hostiles that will also lower your critical hit damage. So having this maintains your ability, whether you're using Borg Q below decks, Khan up top, Cisco and Armada, whatever, to make sure that your critical hits never drop below 100%, which means you would take less damage. Remember, critical hits are a multiplier of standard damage. So if you multiply, say, 100 by 0, oh no, that makes 0. So you never want your crit hit to get down to 0. So between that prime that I just showed you can get for free with Prime Orbit Medallions, as well as this Xborg favor right here, critical damage floor, you can have a 200% floor. So not only can you guarantee you never lose damage when a critical hits, you guarantee you're getting some type of multiplier. So 200% would be a multiplier of 2. So that means you would at least double your damage on criticals if you manage to get both the favor done and this prime. And that's why I find that being one of the most valuable things that this game can offer with the Prime Orbit Medallions. Now, what other things can we get with these Orbit Medallions? Again, lots of good things in here. Prime crit evasion is not one that I'm as big on. We're talking about in value, but let's jump down to maybe what I think is another one that is valuable. And this is going to depend on your ops levels. So you have a couple here that I really like. You have the G3, G4, and G5 prime station efficiencies. Now, if you're G5, you don't need the G3 ones. If you're G4, you probably don't need the G3 ones. See a theme there? But you might still find value, and you notice there's also the Interceptor, Explorer, and Battleship Manufacturings. I really like those as well. And thankfully, they're all in the same tree. So we can just go into the station tree. We're going to, again, make this a little bit tinier so it's easier to see things. And head into the station tree and find some of the ones that we're talking about. Now, there are a lot of primes in here, and it's gotten a little bit convoluted. But you will see, again, some of the ones that we're talking about. Here's the G3 station efficiency. Increases cost efficiency for G3, crystal, gas, and ore. Now, again, this is one that I don't feel like most people are going to need. But if you stay along that same path here at the bottom, you're going to run into the other ones for later on, like G4. Again, this is a 3-step prime. This is for G4 improvements. Now, if you're a brand new player, let's say you're like level 40, 41, you've just hit G4, you're starting this loop. This actually will have value for you later on. Long term, the one with the most value is, scroll down here at the bottom, is the G5, which you see I've done one rung of for a 20% efficiency bonus with a max of 120%. So these I do feel like have good value for the average player, because it's requiring you to use less materials on your buildings. And if you ever use a tool like Spock's Club to say, hey, how much does it cost to go way up there? Find out the answer is a lot. I mean, no cap, as the kids would say. So with that in mind, great to pick up. Now, there are other things that are, of course, worth going after, but I would say that that's something for you to pay attention to lower your overall cost. Now, what about these? These are the G4 ones, and I love them so much. But what about our G5 manufacturing? If we scroll over here, we're going to find those right here. Now, these cost a little bit more, so maybe you go after them, maybe you don't. Now, me as a player, I've kind of progressed so far in G5. Do I really need them? Yeah, the answer is yes. So this is giving you another refine when doing your ship parts refine. And as we talk about all the time, we need more rare ship parts. So being able to get these interceptor manufacturings and take advantage of that is huge. Now, sadly, I don't have them yet. As you can see, I focused on other things with my Prime Orbit Medallions, and I have a problem with not always being studious when it comes to those pulls. But with me talking so much about my Enterprise D and stuff, this would be fantastic to have to get more of those rolls. I would recommend you do as Rev says, not as Rev does, because I've missed out on here by not doing enough of my silent grind. But you can have this ahead of time, meaning you have a lot more as you move into G4 and G5, and you aren't missing out as much. That's a big one. Couple more here I do want to cover, even though I'm not as big on them. You have Prime Xborg Ordnance, and you have Prime Cutting Beam Damage Boost. So the Prime Xborg Ordnance is this one right here, which is a free claim that gives you uncommon, rare, and epic Xborg credits. Now, I don't necessarily think this is bad. However, with the NX-01, you can kind of get to a point where you never have an issue obtaining uncommon, rare, and epics. Now, that doesn't make this bad. Build it out for yourself. But I do not have an issue getting any of these because I have an NX-01. So once you obtain the NX-01, getting these, if you're doing that consistently, I believe is too easy to justify investing this cost. However, as you scroll down, you will get over to the Borg Cutting Beam, which is this one right here. If you wanted a boost to the base amount of the Cutting Beam. Of the two in this tree, I feel like this one is more valuable, and as you can see, a really big jump if you were to go down to the fourth one. As you level up in the game, the Borg Cube becomes more valuable, as in we know it's one of the best ships in the game at the top of G5 and in G6, both for PvP and for PvE. So this is a valuable one down the road. Depends on when you're starting this loop and how, generous the RNG is for you getting these Prime Orbit Medallions. But regardless, you do see the Prime Orbit Medallions give you a lot of access to a lot of good currency upgrades and a lot of good free primes that can improve. I did not specifically mention the Prime Station resource efficiency because, to be honest, I feel like that is available in so many other ways. Whereas if I was to say, hey, biggest value, Prime critical damage floor to me is my number one, followed by probably the G5 Prime Station efficiency, and then your main G5 ship that you want to go after. If it's the Enterprise D, that's the Explorer. Because if you can start getting those rolls to be more impactful early on, that's mo better. And last but certainly not least, the Cutting Beam Damage Boost, which is okay. But you could also say, hey, I'd rather just get the G4 Prime Station Engineering, or maybe the G5 Interceptor Battleship as well. However you want to order it, this is a lot of good here. Got to make sure you're doing those pulls and getting all of the goodies. So hopefully this helps you out. I like free primes, and sometimes that means a grind. Actually, it guarantees a grind. But I feel like you have a lot of good ones there if you're doing that artifact run. And another reason for you, if your alliances and masters, get you that Kishar artifact, so you can just kind of like set these and go. Like, yeah, I need to hit it. I hate doing the clicks. I'll just set them like that and talk to the amazing people on stream. Hopefully this video helps you out. Live long and plunder. Stay safe with those Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next Star Trek Fleeking Man video. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with. And as always, love and appreciate every single one of you. See you on the next one.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.